Otis.
Now, in the article, they said it was his tattoos that gave him away. Honestly, I heard it was his ratatouille recipe.
Wow.
Ratatouille. Ratatouille. Yeah. Okay. That was a stretch. Ratatouille.
Bernie.
Ratatouille is how you pronounce it.
Should I explain it more? Do you get it?
I mean,
Does that make it funnier?
I would no, please. I like ending on a really terrible joke. I like taking a good joke that we finished on and then adding one on top of it that doesn't work.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us again this week.
Really? Are you eating on the podcast? Are you eating right now because you can't wait to eat?
Yeah. My wife just brought in dinner.
Oh, so. Jesus Christ. We're minutes away from finishing the podcast. You can't wait to stop eating?
We were talking about a cooking show. I'm hungry.
This is very unprofessional in unemployment. Very unprofessional. I'm going to say it right now. If you're looking at Otis as a prospective employee, this is very unprofessional. We're literally seconds away from being finished and you're eating. What is that, like Vienna sausages?
It's ratatouille.
That's not ratatouille. That's
Still not landing?
That's not how you say the dish.
It's an Italian dish. Rat is in
even
there.
think
It's a
in
good
the
joke.
movie, it was French.
Oh.
This is Weird with Otis and Bernie.
Stunning.
Hey,
Stunning. Stunning.
Listen, you know the food connoisseur that I am. I am
Stunning.
very up on those dishes that you can't
Cuisines.
pronounce when you look at a menu. And you're like,
Cuisines.
I don't know what this means, but it sounds good. Like, what are these vegetables? I've never heard of them before.
Stunning.
Welcome into This Is Weird. You can follow along with us on all the socials at This Weird Pod. We're on YouTube as well. You can see us. It's a lot more fun when you see us because we are very attractive people, I feel like.
Let me tell you something. It's the look is half the package. If you're not seeing the podcast, you're missing out. The look is half the package.
I know you kids love the audio, but the visuals.
Kids love the audio, but I'm telling you, you're missing something. You're missing beefcake.
So we, since you started with food, I just rushed in here from dinner. We went out with a couple that lives in our neighborhood, friends of ours, to celebrate tonight, and we went to a fancy restaurant here around Atlanta, Cafe Soul or Cotton Soul, or had a weird fancy name.
All right.
So it's one of those high end ones. So immediately you're like, this is gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
And
are you paying for it?
I thought I was, but the couple we went with was very nice, and they said, "Let us take care of it." And then you get into that whole. We'll get to that, but you get into the whole fighting over the bill thing.
Sure.
But so there's a few things about fancy restaurants. I'm not a fancy person. I don't mind a good fancy restaurant, but first off, like I said, the menus when you're reading through them, you kind of understand about half of what may be in your dish. You know what I'm talking about? And you're like,
I think it's scattershot. You're like, I know what that is. I know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Those may be disgusting, but I guess we're gonna try because it says salmon in the name. A lot of times
you'll make connections. You'll be like, I like cheese, but I'm not sure I like that cheese. Like I don't know if that's a sort of taste of a cheese I like.
So as I'm reading the menu, I'm very indecisive because that scenario. It's like it says this long weird name, but it also says salmon in the name. So I'm like, I like salmon.
I like salmon.
And then there's some weird vegetables and chickpeas and things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, go with that dish. But I'll tell you what, it was a very good dish that I picked. So I'm happy with it. But I'll tell you what bothers me about fancy restaurants more than anything. What the hell do they have against ice? When they bring you water, they pour you lukewarm water out of a jug that's fancy, and there's no ice. So the entire time I'm sitting there drinking lukewarm water. That makes no sense to me. I felt no fancier. I didn't feel any more high end drinking warm water.
Is that Europe? Maybe that is European, because in Europe, they don't favor ice as much. Maybe that is a European thing. My wife enjoys water with no ice. I need a glass full of ice in order for me to even come near it. I think it is a European thing to not have ice. Depending on the cuisine of the restaurant, maybe they're trying to enhance that experience.
I felt like I was white trash if I was like, can I get some ice in this glass?
I
What are
need
we
some
doing
ice.
here?
God damn it. God damn it. I need ice.
So I just sat and drank the lukewarm water the whole time. Like,
This is
terrible
swill.
water.
This is swill.
This is what it tasted like to me because, they're clean glasses. And I knew that because I could taste the dish detergent in the bottom of the glass with the warm water. It felt like that they had gone ahead and washed the glass. And in the process of washing the glass, sometimes in your dishwasher, the glass will flip over.
Yes.
And then you get a full glass of water.
Of soap dirt water. Yes.
That was my water.
Maybe that's just what they do. Maybe they just bring it out to you. They use the dishwasher to fill all the glasses up. Just bring that out to you. I don't know. Maybe that's the move. I don't know.
It was a nice experience, and thank you to the couple we went with. Yes, they did grab the check.
Were you out celebrating the thing I think you were celebrating?
We were. So there's a few things that we're celebrating because we got a lot of stuff going on in our family and our life, and it's all positive stuff, and it's great. So we were like, you know what, we should go celebrate for dinner. My wife set up a thing. I didn't even know about it till last minute. And she's like, well, Kelsey and Chris are going to come with us. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's great. I like to conversate and have another couple because I have nothing in common with my wife. I don't want to sit with her
Kelsey,
for 2 hours.
Chris, not so much, but whatever. That seems nice. I mean, Chris seems nice. Kelsey, I can take it or leave it.
Let's be real. Me and my wife we're gonna run out of conversation about 15
My wife
minutes,
and I ran out of shit to talk about in 2013. And let me tell you something. It's just the same thing over and over again. I'll say something. She's like, yeah, I know. We've had that conversation.
Right. And how fast do you get back to the kids? You're like trying not to talk about the kids. And then you're like back to the kids.
And we got to talk about current events. Current events bums me out.
Look, the thing is when you're married, you do the same things together all the time.
Look, you've been here all goddamn time. You've been here the whole time. I can't tell you a story because you've been here for all the stories. Like that, I have no new stories. I had 7 stories when I met you. I've since told you that 7 stories, and now we've added 7 more stories, but you were here for those. So I can't tell you, there's not any new stuff that I can give you because you were there for the whole thing. Oh, by the way, I've been in my house for 2 goddamn years because of COVID, and you were there for that too. Hey, remember that time I went to the guest room? Yeah, it was great. Like I didn't do anything.
That's the other thing is it never in our lives have we been together so much.
Right.
Because of COVID and we're, I was unemployed for a year, as you heard in the first part of the segment.
Right. Yeah.
So it was awesome. We did the fighting over the check thing for a while because I don't like people to pay for me, but I know that people occasionally like to do that. So I don't like to overly do that conversation. We're like, no, give me the check. Here, give me the check. Hey, no, please don't do that. Please. Because eventually it gets a little rude.
Yeah.
If you're going too far. So I was like, I did that a little bit. Then I'm like, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
This is weird.
Hello.
Lamore, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
So, very, very good. So she's known on TikTok as Lawyer Lamore, and she hit me up because a friend of a friend was like, she's like, I want to do this podcast. I think you can help me out. And I'm like, absolutely, let's do this. And it's absolutely successful already out the gate, way more successful than me and you, Bernie.
Right, exactly.
So
we're working on nothing.
Why? The reason I'm bringing Lamore in at this point is to tell you. Me and her are doing This Is Weird from here.
Okay, fine. I'm out. I see that. I get it. No, you know what? I can't argue with that.
You know what? We might as well because the stuff I cover is just as weird. It may not be as fun, but it's just as weird.
And you're the niche that you've carved out, at least in the interim for the last few weeks, is on TikTok and on your podcast. You're talking a lot about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, which I will admit to you has gone on way longer than I thought it was. Like I thought this is like a week and a half and we're going to wrap this up. And we're entering the 9th year of this. I can't believe it's the 9th year of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
You know what's so funny about that? So many people comment, what am I going to do once this is over? And it's like, I don't know. Pay attention at work. This trial is on during business hours, but everyone somehow is able to tune in and engage. It's crazy.
All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the Johnny Depp case with you, and that is what your focus is on your social media right now at Laura Gilmore on TikTok. 11 Order is super focused on not just that case, but I love how you are tying in a lot of legal facts that lay people like me and Bernie, we would never know. We're not in a courtroom very often, but you do family law, correct?
That's right.
Family law and divorces and things like that. So that's your wheelhouse is what is happening here.
Yes.
Oh.
It's funny because it's actually a civil trial. It's a defamation case, but it's turned into this really big circus, right? And they're focusing in on domestic violence, which is a big part of family law, right? Most of my cases, I would say at least 80% of my cases, there's some sort of domestic violence. So it's the whole.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people actually weirdly can relate to this trial because it is so off the wall because it's celebrities and they live weird lives anyway. But the relationship in its core, how many people go through that toxicity and the abuse and stuff is dark, and that part of it's real dark. But I mean, a lot of people are in that zone where there's just a toxic relationship and they're fighting through it, just like these two people are. But we're so enthralled because this guy was a pirate in a Disney movie.
I love it. Yeah.
Is it possible that when you get to the yes, we have claims of abuse. So that's the first layer of this. But is the second layer of this maybe perhaps both of them were just crazy and
Absolutely.
and that both of them fed into this toxicity, and that at the end of the day they both kind of it was like oil and water, and that it just wasn't going to work, and this is just how this blew up. And that maybe you can't look at one or either of the two parties and be like, this is the reason this was like this.
Yeah, I look at them and just knowing that Johnny Depp, I think he was 50 something, right, when they got married, and she was 20 something, and he was already a legend.
Good for Johnny.
And they got married without a prenup. So for my perspective, it was toxic from the start. How on earth is Johnny Depp getting married without a prenup? That just tells me she had you wrapped around her little finger. I'm sure the entire family hated her because of it. Your business people hated you.
Doesn't it tell you though? It tells you that she has him wrapped around his finger, or as we've seen, maybe he makes poor money decisions. Like maybe he's just shitty with money and just like, I don't care, whatever, just to make the thing happen.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's so generous with his money, but I
took some notes and I'd like to dig into some of the testimony, and it goes right along with what you're saying, wrapped around the finger. Let's go into how Heard this week described the romantic moments between her and Depp. Okay. So in her testimony, she actually said in the beginning of the relationship, quote, I remember he took the foil off this bottle and put it on my ring finger and said, I had only been with him a few days. Maybe it was weeks at the time, but it just felt very intense. We were in a bubble of secrecy. We had this beautiful, in less than a week, probably, a trip to the Bahamas on this private island in sandy beaches. This sounds like The Bachelor, does it not? Except for the foil ring. That's weird. That's the weirdest part. But he was overly generous at times. She said, I'm talking about these extravagant trips and these gestures. It was a lot. This is how she described the early part of their relationship. He was pouring it on.
Some people call it love bombing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a few people that do that.
So, but we should say, because of their age difference and because Johnny Depp was already a thing in Hollywood, I mean, him being eccentric was not new. He was eccentric and strange and passionate and all of these things that you read about Johnny Depp ahead of this. So it's to hear all of these details, you're like, it's kind of the least surprising thing in the world.
I'm with you 100%, because I remember, Johnny Depp has been famous for 3 decades?
So
ever since, I've known Johnny Depp in that way too. And people have asked, I think part of his argument was I got into drugs and alcohol way more after we met. I think there were people from studios who said, yeah, he got much worse when they met. And it's like, you expect us to believe that the guy who owns Viper Room was way deeper into drugs and alcohol when he met Amber Heard? How does that make sense?
Let me ask you about that, because there's a handful of people that have come through in the trial, and I'll admit to you right now, I have only been following it cursorily. Like, I have not been following it. I certainly don't know the details. Probably not even as many details as Otis, and certainly not as many as you. But the one thing I saw this week is they brought a Disney executive up on the stand, and that Disney executive admitted it was not Amber's allegations that sunk Johnny Depp in the eyes of Disney. It was Johnny's behavior and unprofessionalism that sunk Johnny in the eyes of Disney, and that's why they were going to move along. How much of that testimony did they bring up where they were just like, they were trying to discredit him as a bad worker, like as a bad employee?
Right. So half of the argument is you have become so famous that the world revolves around you. You come to set late. You don't care about the crew. I think there was an allegation that he actually got into a fight with someone on the crew on one of his movies, and there's a separate lawsuit for that they tried to bring in, right? And then he's trying to say, no, everything was worse because of Amber. And then this article that no one ever read. No one ever read this article. Your fans had no idea that there was a Washington Post article by Amber Heard. You brought the attention to that article, right?
He is the one suing civilly Amber Heard for sinking his career because of the allegations that she made inside an article where she never actually named him by name.
That's exactly right. And you can make the argument that, yeah, his career maybe in the public's eyes went downhill when they got divorced, because that's when the first video came out, right? He's slamming all those cabinets in the kitchen and all of that. Sure, 2016, maybe his fans, they dwindled down and maybe things were rough for him or whatever it was. But I certainly don't think it's the words in that article.
All right, let's pause for a second because I got a few things here, and hold the thought on the cabinets, because I had I had a quote from Johnny on that Bernie can relate to.
Okay.
So first off, I love that Disney did not appreciate said that there was no professionalism from a guy playing a drunken pirate in a movie. Like, let's be real. Johnny Depp is the kind of actor who comes on set as the character. He's never Johnny Depp when he's there.
Or is it the most method he could possibly be?
Absolutely.
Very method. Very method.
So they're like, this guy's not professional.
This guy is great. Good. This is good. Keep going.
Secondly, that's how I plan on treating my coworkers as I we'll get to that announcement in a bit as I tell you my new gig at my radio station. I'm going to be exactly like that. Thirdly, back to the cabinets thing. This was Johnny Depp's quote in his testimony as Amber Heard tried to claim he assaulted her in this fight that they were talking about in that moment of the trial. He said, quote, "I did assault a couple cabinets, but I did not touch Miss Heard." Bernie, we did a whole episode on Bernie assaulting cabinets. So.
Well, I was having an issue with the cabinets underneath, and the cabinet swung back and hit me, and I was gonna tear the cabinet up, and came in, and it was a whole thing. So I mean, I'm not saying I get it, but I understand. You know what I mean? Like,
there was one point when Bernie was fixing the cabinet that his wife said, "What did she say? Are you going to be all right there? Do you
everything
got
okay?"
that?
I'm like,
everything okay?
Damn cabinet.
You can get out of here. This is me, the
I
cabinet.
just tell my wife, just like, leave the room. I don't want you to witness what I'm about to do to this cabinet. It's plausible deniability. It's plausible deniability if you leave.
Oh my God.
So in Bernie's eyes, he was credible in that moment.
But that's the thing. I do want to ask a question about Johnny Depp's testimony, and that was, he is not hiding the fact that he's like kind of unbalanced and kind of likes to do drugs and has a group of friends that he likes to do drugs with. Like, he's not hiding the eccentricities of being Johnny Depp here, right?
Right. No, you're spot on. And I think that actually helps his case because he's coming in and saying, yes, I'm a little bit crazy. I like to drink. I like to do drugs with my friends. Yes, yes,
You're
yes.
everything you think I am. Yeah.
Yes. But I do not I didn't hit my wife. I don't hit people. I assault cabinets. I assaulted a couch in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Sure. But I don't hit people. And I never hit her.
So that's some of the craziest testimony that I've heard is how they were going at him about who he did drugs with. Because again, extravagant, crazy celebrity lifestyle. They're like, did you do pills with Marilyn Manson? Oh, listen, whoever you are, lawyer, if you were in a room with Marilyn Manson and he had pills, I'm going to guess that we're all doing pills.
Yeah, right? You'd have to do the conversation. Yeah. Like, hey, Marilyn Manson's coming over. Did you guys pick up the pills? Did you guys get the pills? Because I'm going to need the pills to get through the conversation with Marilyn Manson.
There was one point when Johnny said, yes, we did. I actually gave Marilyn a pill just so he would stop talking so much.
Yeah. Yep. That was hilarious to me. That was hilarious. And you would think sometimes, do the jurors, because Marilyn Manson does not have a good reputation. So do they maybe think birds of a feather flock together? Or is Johnny Depp so likable that they're just like, ha ha, he gave his friends drugs to make him shut up. That's so cool. You don't know.
Listen, I think we all have that friend first off. And if you don't, then you are that friend. So
That's fair.
So I was listening to the podcast and you made a good point. And this might be because I'm a guy and I don't identify with Amber as much as I would if I were a girl. You made the point that likability is very important. And Johnny Depp came off as very affable and likable. And Amber Heard is coming off not so much. And so maybe that's me reading it as a dude, or that's them painting her in a way that she's not. Does the jury attach to Johnny Depp coming off more likable and her not?
I think so, because what we know about what's going on in the courtroom is that we have 4, I think now there's 5 20-year-old guys, right, on the jury. The rest are women. And on the first day of her testimony, they were very alert. They were listening to her, trying to figure stuff out, looking at Johnny's reactions, listening to her, looking at Johnny, going back and forth. And then we found out the second day, half of them turned their chairs the other way and wouldn't even look at her.
Oh, I didn't know that. Weird.
Yeah. They said that on court TV. And it's like, okay, so the vibes that we're getting at home might be the same that's going on in that courtroom, maybe even worse for Amber, because the courtroom is full of Johnny Depp fans. I feel really bad for her because the law and facts are mostly in her favor. The problem, if you have no credibility, you're done for, right? The law and facts can be on your side, really. But if you don't have any credibility, jurors aren't going to believe a single word that comes out of your mouth.
At the end of the day, this is a sales job. You got to go in and sell this more than you have to convince anybody that the facts are anything.
That's right. So, when you're dealing with a jury, that's exactly right.
I suggest plugging again, you listen to Love and Order if you're into the law stuff, because of the way she lays it out, especially the first episode. She has, who's the guest you had on that was former DA?
Yes, he's a federal prosecutor, Michael Morris.
He explains it so well, these hearsay arguments, these jury dealings that you have to deal with as a lawyer, the credibility issues that you try to build and keep them from hearing certain things so you don't kill your credibility of your client, things like that. It's so interesting. So the details of all that are within Love and Order, and I love that about the podcast.
Thank you so much.
And this trial just lets it flow for you. And I think it's creating a moment. So
let me ask you, when you're dealing with a jury like this, we always see this on TV, that they say something. Johnny Depp is this, and a lawyer objects, and they strike it from the record. Okay, but it was the idea here was to get it out in front of the jury, but ultimately strike it from the official record. Does the jury connect with that, even though they're not supposed to have heard it, or they're not supposed to, it is stricken from the record. It's not supposed to be a part of their final decision making.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes that's a tactic and a strategy that the other side will use, right? That if they object, it's not objectionable, right? But they will object, either bring more attention to it or try to bring less attention to it. But if it's stricken from the record, it really means nothing in a jury trial, right?
Because they heard it. They heard it ultimately. The thing that they're,
Well, Lamore said in her podcast, we're humans. Jurors are humans at the end of the day, so they're going to act like humans would, and you expect them to.
Right. Like if someone said to you, "You are such a piece of shit," and then they say, "I take it back." Right?
I mean, I go on. Often. Go ahead.
Right. I take it back. I'm sorry. I was just having a bad day. Nothing against you. I was just having a bad day. I take it back.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to remember that person went off on you like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're telling you, I take it back. I didn't even mean it. It's not something you should remember, whatever it is. But we're human. That's just the way it works.
Another one of my favorite moments in the trial was when Heard's lawyer objected to himself. He was asking a line of questioning, and then the doctor said, well, when he came in, it was about his cut finger. And when he came in, someone told me, and he said, well, objection, hearsay. And the judge is just like, you asked the question.
Yes. So
and he said, oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
What's crazy about that? The judge shouldn't have said that, because you can object to the way someone answers your question, right? But did he ask? I don't even remember how he phrased the question, but I think the way he just jumped and objected, it's like, wait, but she didn't even say, and what is happening? Right. But you have to feel bad for these attorneys. Listen, a 6-week trial, no thanks. I'd rather no.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the finger, because that was a weird moment in itself. I don't know if you knew this, Bernie, but Johnny Depp apparently painted with the blood of his cut off finger.
Sure. You do
during the fight. So they were having a fight. He cuts his finger terribly.
Was long. COVID was long. I think we can all agree. COVID was really long.
Was it a bottle or something? He cut it on?
A bottle, yeah.
And so mid-fight, he's like, you know what would be great? A painting right now. And then what gets even weirder is that he was asked, was that painting a penis? Because every man knows,
again,
I'm painting a penis. I assume he's an artist and he's going to come with some awesome creation with his blood. But nope, he's just like all of us, and he's going to paint a penis.
Paint a penis
in the middle of a fight.
A regular dude.
Like they're going to have to prove that he has the crazy card, and the crazy card may win this entire thing.
Well, she's gone even crazier though.
Crazy.
She's showing up to court dressed as him several times. She's pooped in his bed. That was a big part of the trial, where there's fecal matter. She's trying to blame it on the dog, but you're looking at it and you're like, that's a big poop for a little dog. Number one. Number two, you're going to, let's just say it is the dog poop. So who pulled the sheet over the poop? Because it wasn't the dog.
You really have studied this.
I paid attention.
Just like the forensics of...
Yeah, that came up during the divorce too. And what's funny about that, well, I guess it's not even funny. It doesn't matter whose poop it is. That type of behavior, I would say, is abusive. That is abusive. To do that in someone's bed, whether it's your poop, a bird's poop, I don't care. That is abusive.
Backing up, this is where he said he drew the line. Like the poop in the bed was like, he said, that's the divorce. We were done that moment.
I can't handle things right now. I can't handle it.
Everything leading up to that, I guess, was okay. And then
so far so good, but you shit in my bed. I draw a line.
And again, I get it. I think I'm done then too.
Yeah.
But there was a party. I think it was his birthday, right?
It was her birthday.
Her birthday. They were throwing a massive party. Johnny's like, I'm getting out of here. I just don't want to be a part of it. He leaves. The maid calls him the next morning and says, there's poop on your side of the bed. And
I didn't do it.
Looks like human poop. And Johnny's like, what? What's going on? His story is that her or her friends decided to shit on his side of the bed so that he would climb into bed and slide through the poop.
It's a crime of the century. You know what I'm saying?
I've had some bad relationships, but I've never gotten to that level.
At the end, let me ask you something. we were asking about how people are perceiving Amber against how people perceive Johnny. How much of this is like kind of we're wired to believe him and we're wired to think that she's crazy? Like how much is a bias a part of this to begin with?
Oh my God, it is such a huge part of it. I get reported if I say or show any of Amber's evidence because people hate it and they will say, you're pro Amber, she's pro Amber. And it's like, no, I'm trying to listen to the facts because we don't know the facts. She got on the stand, right before the 10-day break?
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard her side of the story.
Lamore, I know you're a lawyer, but did you live through the past 3 years on social media? Because facts don't matter anymore.
Facts. We've given up on facts,
care.
guys. We don't do facts anymore.
We don't do facts
We're out on
anymore.
facts.
Nobody likes facts. Like
we're in a post-fact
world. What are
world.
you talking about?
You're right.
It's all about opinion and what you think in that moment, and you should spout it off in your comment section.
Stephen Colbert calls it truthiness. It might not be true, but if you can convince people that it's true, you're fine.
I know you lawyer types like facts and shit. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, we're not doing facts.
Update your level.
It's a really, really good point, though, because you see a lot of younger kids kind of justice for Johnny. Their entire page is Johnny Depp. Their handles are changed, right? And it's like, how do you guys know him?
Right.
Pirates? Real? I guess that makes sense. But I don't remember him having huge fan clubs or anyone talking about him on TikTok before the trial. Yeah. Why are you going so hard? And you know, a part of it is he has to put on his case first. So everything, all the content everyone made went viral, and it was all kind of pro Johnny Depp because it was him telling his story. So, you know, as far as the court of public opinion goes, no, Amber had no chance at all.
This is basically what it's about for him, though, right? It's a $50 million defamation suit, but he doesn't even give a crap about the $50 million. This is about him and his story, right? Isn't that the basis for why he even did this?
Yeah, you know, I think the first day of his testimony, he said something like, oh, I don't care if I win or lose. I don't care if I win or lose, right? Which for attorneys, all of us are saying you're going to lose. The law and facts are not on your side. And then you think about it even deeper, and it's like 6 weeks of resources from Fairfax County.
I've assumed the whole time that he picked his lawyers by calling one of those numbers on a billboard. And they're not getting paid unless they do win. So
yeah.
No, is that not how it happened?
No, that's not how it happened.
Do you have a billboard with your name on it with a phone number?
I would never in my life do that.
Okay. They hand those out like you go to the same place that you shop for real estate billboards. The real estate people are lined up on this side, and the lawyer people are lined up on this side for the billboards with your face on it.
Oh my God.
So let me kind of put a bow on this. Are you in a how do you think it's going to end?
I don't know anymore. Because I still think the law and facts are not on his side, but Amber Heard, I think, has said things in her testimony that make her lose credibility. So if the jury kind of disconnected from her on the first day of her testimony and didn't listen to anything else that she said, Johnny could very well win. It's a jury trial. It's not like a judge who knows how to disconnect from, bullshit. And these are the law and the facts, and I know how to fit it into the elements. It's a jury. It's a jury that is seeing all these fans in the courtroom. It's, the world right now, they can make a lot of money after this case, doing appearances, book deals, documentary, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what's going on in their heads. I really don't. Jury trials are just wild cards all the time.
And that's going to be a big boon of business for everybody. Is everybody there just kind of waiting on this thing to wrap up so that they can start signing their book deals? And
yes,
that's going to be an industry in and of itself.
We saw what happened after OJ.
Right.
Everybody's waiting.
There we go. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Everybody had a book. Even OJ put out a book about how he did the murder, but it was only if he did it.
We reviewed that in depth on this.
We had a segment
back on. I want to bring you back on
with OJ tonight because
we
had OJ on quite often because we wanted to hear his thoughts on the craziest stuff going on around the world, because he goes on Twitter and decides to give us.
OJ
advice
just
about
comments
violence.
on pop culture now.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because we've reached the end of the loop where we're back to like OJ just being a pop culture guy. And we're all like, he's completely oblivious to the things he's like. OJ had an opinion about Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Like the assault.
And you're just like, I'm not sure I'm ready to live in a world where OJ's giving me his hot takes on
violence.
on Chris Rock and Will Smith. Like, I don't know that we need to be in that world.
OJ, just sit that one out,
Just
bro.
sit this one out, man. It's so much violence in the world. Is there, OJ? Is there really?
Oh, jeez.
Well, thank you for. I appreciate the conversation, and I think you carved out yourself a niche because you were explaining it in a way that I listened to it, and then I could come here and talk to you, and I felt like I was way knowledgeable, way more so than when we began. But I
feel like I could jump in a courtroom and
I
and
feel
make
like
it happen right now.
I'm basically a lawyer.
You know,
is what I'm trying to say.
it's the same thing as like when I watch TLC and they flip the houses and stuff. I immediately now assume that I can flip an entire house and make money. So now I assume when the next celebrity trial is, look for me in the courtroom. I'm going to be running game as the lawyer, and I'm going to win it because of Lawyer Lamore and her credibility and knowledge that she gave me through her podcast. So at Love and Order is what it's called. I produce it. That's why I wanted to push it even more. Love and Order on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts. You can find it at Lawyer Lamore on TikTok. It's a ton of fun, good content. And that's why we wanted to have you on, because neither one of us know anything about law. We've been arrested a few times. That's like the extent of it.
I know. Yeah, I know about the legal system in so much as I was the defendant. That's kind of.
I had to call a number on a billboard.
I had to call. Yeah, I had to
That's what you guys did.
$500 at 2:00 in the morning.
Thank you guys for having me and listening to the podcast. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
This is weird.
We're back at it. This is weird, and we talked Johnny. That's what we're doing now with the show. We're just going all celebrity trials now.
She's such a good spirit, and she's got great knowledge within a courtroom. So I think that was fun.
Good. I like that a lot, and I do.
Did we mention that there was a study that came out that the Johnny Depp trial has 5 to 10 times more clicks whenever somebody puts up information about it than abortion, COVID, or the president of the United States.
It was all the big things, and then like double that amount was Johnny and Amber Heard. Like,
that's our priorities in this world.
That's where we're at with a priority.
Is poop in a bed at a Johnny Depp trial.
Yeah, you give us a good, like, we've had so much serious over the last few years that a good old fashioned shitting in the bed story is where we're at. Like,
I'm clicking that.
I'm clicking that. That's great. That's funny. What's that? There was abuse? I don't care. I'm good shitting in the bed. I'm reading shit in the bed story. That's where I'm at. So the story is out of I think it's Mississippi. And here's what the couple found on the beach when they were looking for shells.
Hey, that's where treasure lies, and well, this treasure isn't gold, but it's definitely worth the find.
Aaron Wellborn suited into
Dentures.
his gear and went snorkeling. 20 to 30 yards off the shore, he met eyes with pearly white teeth.
They were pearly whites. They were clean. They didn't have any what was odd to me, they didn't have any poly grip or anything on them. Like, they were like,
They look brand new.
they looked brand new.
On a
Did he try them on?
I don't think he tried them on. I think he found them dentures.
Can I just say this? Why is this a news story? I always wonder how these news stations find the guy that found dentures on a beach? Because if you or I found dentures on a beach, we're not calling Channel 12.
Well, but I think that, as you'll see, there is a little more rich backstory to the dentures.
I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Yeah.
mission to collect seashells for his wife Blair, he surprised her with something rare.
I go up to her and I'm hiding them, so she can't see them, because I've been looking for
Is he gonna propose with him? I'm hiding it behind my back. I get on one knee and I'm like, baby, you've meant so much to me my entire life, and I couldn't think of anything greater to ask you to wear these dentures I found.
Every kiss begins with K, but I say kiss because these are in my mouth.
He's got him in like horse teeth.
Right. Hey, will you marry me? Will you marry me? Do you have a second set of teeth in? Oh, why do you think that?
By the way, his girlfriend is all in. Like, she's smiling, laughing.
She's
she thinks
having
this
a
is
great time.
What would our wives do in this moment? They're like, I'm not going on.
disgusting dentures back.
Yeah, why are you touching that?
Why are
Stop
you touching that?
No, I'm not going on the news to talk about it. That's weird. Put the dentures away, like throw them away or something. It's gross. We haven't got to the backstory yet, though. Maybe there's.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, close your eyes. I'm like, you're not gonna believe what I found.
I was so excited.
I feel like he's gonna
She
propose.
closes her eyes, and I drop them in her hand, and she opens her eyes up, and it was not a shell. It was
I freaked out.
dentures smiling at her.
I punched him. I punched him right in his goddamn face.
Again, I'm putting my wife in this scenario. If I put somebody's disgusting dentures in her hand where her eyes were closed, that would be a fight the rest of the day.
Surprise! I put dentures in your hands.
I'm ruining the rest of my day if I pull that as a joke. Look what I found, baby.
Sometimes you can sell your day out for the joke. Like if I think the joke is going to be really funny, I will give up the rest of the day. Like everybody can be mad at me, but I'm
Just
like,
for her
I had
reaction.
just for that reaction, just to get a tickle out, just to tickle me.
Yeah,
but
I
I don't
feel
know that this one's worth it.
Nope.
Dentures worth nearly $2,000 with the name engraved Randy Williams on it. So the
Randy.
request began to return it to its owner.
I was like, I gotta find this guy. You know, there's somebody out there like, you know, they're gonna want these back, or I would want.
There's
them
somebody
back.
out there toothless.
Somebody out
toothless.
there,
I just
somebody
can't
out
let
there,
him live his life.
somebody out there has got the 6 jars of applesauce at the house, and they're looking for their teeth.
He's out here nubbing on some soft, some soft food because he can't eat anything else right now.
I went to
Randy
Lowe's.
needs his teeth back.
I went to the local supermarket. I was like, name me the guy you're selling the most bananas to.
So I was like, you know, kind of funny on Facebook, like, hey, look, if you know Randy Williams that's got dentures, let me know, because I got his.
They found Randy, a Wisconsin resident who visited the beach 7 days before the couple found
Randy
his
was
teeth.
on vacation, lost his teeth. Randy, damn it. The worst vacation you've ever had, man.
Shit, is it a great vacation if you don't lose your teeth? Fuck, I had a great time.
Past month, Randy's been telling everybody how he lost his teeth on vacation. It was the worst shit that ever happened in his life. Now he's got to pay $2,000 more for some dentures.
Came back with Alabama with COVID, but without my teeth.
What are the odds that we find Randy, but we also find his teeth in the ocean a week later after he lost them? So I was like, this is never going to happen again.
This is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to these people.
Yeah. And he's so excited. The picture of him is holding the teeth with the biggest grin on his face. Not the teeth grin, his grin.
No,
he's
yeah,
holding
right.
the
The
grin
teeth
next
are
to
also
his
grinning.
grin.
Yeah.
Right.
His grin and
So
the teeth's
proud.
grin. Yeah. It's
So
great.
proud.
And by the way, I would like to say, I like this girl because she seems to be game.
She's so
Like she seems to be very
absolutely.
excited about the adventure too.
They're
'Cause to
obviously not married.
No. Where if they were married and they were 5 years later, it'd be like, "Where's your husband?" I don't know. He found some teeth on
He's out there
on a
looking for more
on a
fucking
beach somewhere.
Yeah. God. By the way, Randy underneath there, he found the post or somebody shared it with him, and he was like, "Thank you so much. You're my hero." So Randy was really missing them teeth.
Randy was really missing the teeth.
Have to make the most of this, and so the Dentures Adventures was born.
Instead of a party of 2, it was now a party of 3.
We took them to Krispy Kreme. We took it to Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God, this became a tour.
Yeah, built
became
a
a whole
sand
thing.
castle, put them in it, like all kind of
Soaked
cool
in the
stuff.
pool, all the things we did, the teeth did with us.
After the
These
adventure,
people
they
went
shipped
on a tooth tour. Like,
Yeah, and
they
there's
just
not
went-
much to do in this state.
They're in front of a bear holding the teeth up. They're in FedEx with teeth. They went to a restaurant with teeth. They had the teeth in a beach chair with glasses.
Yeah.
Like
Again,
this-
everybody's
I get it.
still
I-
smiling.
I'm kind of appreciating the swag at this point. I had a roaming gnome that we carried around and traveled with for a while until some whores in the beach shattered him. That's a long story.
Seems
Like he traveled with us for quite some time. He had a whole social media following, and then these drunk chicks were like, take a picture with him. They smashed him.
Oh,
His name was Doug.
All right.
His name was Doug. And
Seems like you're
rest in
still
peace,
hung
Doug.
up on it.
I'm quite hung up on it. That was a
the Dentures
a
more than
traumatic incident.
800 miles away with a note.
So she wrote this 4-page letter of a perspective from the
basically
dentures.
the dentures story of the whole week, from the point that they were separated from their dad Randy and until we found them, and then the whole week, all their adventures that they had been on. The teeth told the story back to Randy.
And a warning.
And it,
this one's writing a blog.
Listen,
I created a blog.
It sounds like a wonderful story and a beautiful ending until they find out that Randy lost his original teeth because of mouth gonorrhea. So then that just changes. So it just changes
I
the
had
whole.
sores all over my mouth that were really hurting.
in the story it says to please forgive him if his teeth, when he puts them back in, if they give him a southern accent, because they've been hanging out with people that say y'all like every other word.
And they've also
it's
been in
really
disgusting places with lots
They've
of
also-
germs.
yeah,
So please,
yeah.
for the love of God, I hope Randy washed those teeth.
Yeah, Randy, please wash the teeth first.
fun.
Randy also promised to send a photo to the couple once his teeth are in his possession.
I don't want to see the teeth anymore.
Randy's got to carry on the social media tradition. He's got to go around with the teeth in his mouth and take pictures and continue whatever the handle is at
That's right,
Randy's
Byron.
teeth.
The teeth have arrived. The Denture Adventure has come to
This is, by the way, I put a cut in the video. This is now Randy has reached the teeth have reached
an
Randy.
end as owner Randy Williams has been reunited with his dentures after losing them while vacationing in Gulf Shores. Take a look at this video where Randy is reuniting with his smile once again.
Oh, of course, that's what Randy looks like.
Of course,
Fu
well,
Manchu.
of course, that's what Randy looks like.
What
did you have any
okay,
doubt?
anyone listening, you had an assumption of what Randy looked like, right? You were thinking in your head, what does Randy look like? By the way, if you are not watching this on YouTube, you absolutely should. This is weird on YouTube. Randy looks exactly what is in your head right now. Right?
You get missing my teeth, but my teeth are out.
He's got a FedEx box he's holding up with his teeth in it. Giant smile, of course, no teeth. But is Clark University? Is he in Atlanta?
He's in. He's opening the FedEx box.
Oh,
I gotta get my teeth.
They're here. Thank you, Aaron and Blair.
Oh, the teeth had been on some adventures. Oh God, Randy, wash the teeth! No, Randy.
Aaron and
Randy.
Randy
Randy
put the
went
teeth right
all
back.
in.
He didn't even wash them or
Aaron and
anything.
Blair.
He pulled them out of the bag in the box, straight to his mouth. Oh, Randy. No. No, Randy. Why?
One more time. I want to see Randy just pop them right out of the box and into his mouth.
Oh, they're here. Thank you,
Randy.
Aaron and Blair.
Have you heard of COVID? Randy, have you been through the pandemic? No. You can hear
By
him
the
put
way-
it in. You can hear the.
Oh, you can hear the you can hear that. It's very loud. By the way, I'm willing to bet new pandemic because this guy put teeth that he hadn't washed into his mouth.
That's
New
wait,
pandemic.
hold on, pause. Is this how monkeypox started?
This is how monkeypox COVID-22 coming soon.
Randy, what are you doing, bro? Like Germ City, don't what?
There you go.
Oh, I'm blown away
All
by
this-
that ending. What a
all this stuff.
climactic ending for that. That was I did not see that coming.
Yeah. That's
Randy.
the story of Randy and his teeth.
Randy went out and had a steak after that because he's tired of bananas.
tired of porridge or whatever.
He's tired of blending up all his
Pudding.
food, green
Yeah,
beans
right.
and mashed potatoes, just so he can eat them.
I was gonna have this green beans in a blender tonight, but I got my teeth back.
Why was Randy not part of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial?
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
at some point in their relationship, he should have been involved.
Seems like Johnny would party with Randy somewhere along
Randy,
the way.
maybe Randy's the one shitting his bed.
I don't know. I was mad about my teeth.
The teeth are right by the poop.
Right, yeah, right. I think Randy's been here.
Can we go put Randy's teeth in photos from the Johnny Depp trial? Can we just
I don't know.
go like superimpose them onto photos that they shared as evidence, and it's just Randy's teeth in different scenarios.
Exhibit A, him popping his teeth back in his head.
Does he have does it have a Twitter handle? I want to follow it. Did we figure that out? Is Randy's at Randy's teeth? That's what it should be.
It should be. If it's not, it should be.
I'm going to look that up after this podcast.
All right, you have an announcement to make. Let's make that announcement.
You're right. I hadn't done that
Let's
yet.
let's bring it all down.
Early on in the podcast, I told you we were celebrating a little something. My son is in All-Stars baseball. Super proud of him for that. Right. My daughter made passed pre-K and passed her test to get into kindergarten.
Okay.
Because we're out of district. She had to pass a little test to get in, but she did it with flying colors. Okay. And I am now officially a morning show co-host in Atlanta, Georgia.
How about that?
Yes.
We started
pinnacle of my career so far.
We started this podcast with a lonely, bitter Otis who had just been shit canned by his company.
Now look where we're at a year later.
Here we are a year later with him being unshit canned by his company.
So I've done afternoons. I've been on the air from 2 to 7 p.m. and I'm now moving up to be up at 3 a.m. to be there by 5 a.m. so that I can be on the air 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 94.9 The Bull. You can listen on iHeartRadio, which our podcast is on as well, the iHeartRadio app. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's cool. Brian Moot is my co-host. He's got Moot Comedy. At Moot Comedy is his handle. We're gonna have him on.
What does that mean for us? I've been here. I have to listen to your stories and
we've been friends for 20 years.
Friends for 20 years. What does that mean for?
What
does
Bernie, I don't
your
know if you've
job
heard
mean for me?
I don't know if you've heard the phrase "all great things must come to an end."
Oh, come on! Do we have to? You know what? If you
listen,
were leaving,
I told you this earlier in the week. I kind of feel like I'm cheating on my best friend because I'm going to have a new best friend.
So we're going to have are we going to have that whore on?
Are you going to treat him terribly?
Are you going to treat him?
If I bring him on here, are you going to be bitter and rude?
I don't know. It depends.
Am I cheating? Is this cheating? Is this friend cheating?
Feels like it's friend. Well, it's co-host cheating. I don't know if it's friend cheating.
That's right.
But it's co-host cheating for sure.
Well, in radio, I've been on shows before where I've been with other people, but they've been like not as long as my tenure has been on my own. And so when you're in that relationship, we compare it to a marriage. It's
very much morning show relationships are very much like, because you and this other person will sit in a room and talk to one another and create, whether the conversation is fake or not, you have to sit in a room for 5 hours a day and entertain people with your conversation. And so over time, whether you hate the person or not, you do get to know the people that you're working with.
Absolutely. And you go through all the ups and downs of a typical relationship, which is sometimes you have fights, sometimes you're happy and everything's going well. And then it's the wave of all those emotions. So it's much like a real relationship. And now I have a new best friend and I don't know.
See, and you stop saying you got a new best friend. You have a new co-host. Doesn't necessarily mean you guys can hate each other.
Listen, I have very little space in my life for extra friends. And so I feel like
I don't think you're drawing the line right. You keep saying you're having a new co-host. You're going to be talking to somebody new. But I don't know. Is he aware that he's going to be your best friend? We're best friends now. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like.
Did we just become best friends?
Did we become friends?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, Bernie, I might not have as much time for you. And I know that's hard to hear in this relationship, but we'll see. Brian Moot is going to be on the show next week.
I'm here for you when you're unemployed and the moment that something prettier comes along. Right out of this podcast.
Isn't this what you're used to, Bernie? Isn't this how your whole life has gone?
It's totally what I'm used to. People loving me temporarily.
Ouch.
Right.
I'm in therapy for it. It's fine. I'm glad you laugh at it on the podcast. It's great.
It's fine. It's anybody that's been here for a long time knows that's true. We're going to continue to do this show.
Are we though?
Oh my God. Are we going to do that here? I thought we had a conversation about this, that we're going to continue to. Now, we had already scheduled to take a few weeks off.
We have
in the month of June.
And Bernie's a little bit bitter because I said earlier this week too, like Brian wants to do a little podcast with me after the show.
That's what I'm going to have to take up with that whore. Is the fact that he's coming in and you guys are going to do all this radio together and he wants to get greedy and do a podcast too. And
he
I'm
has a
like,
podcast, and then we're going to do one together, and then we'll also have This Is Weird.
See,
as long as we're still friends.
I can tell.
After this,
tell
because
where
I have a new
tell-
best friend, and
It's not your best friend. He's your co-host. He's your co-host. He's not your new best friend. We're best friends now. You know how obnoxious that is? Are we friends? It feels like we're friends now.
As grown 40-year-old men, it's a little weird to
It's very strange. It's very strange, and it's very psychologically telling that you attach yourself to a guy that you just met, and you're just like, he's my best friend. Like, I have to explain that to my 6-year-old all the time. That's not the case.
Look, I go in like Johnny Depp. I fall hard. I've already given him a tinfoil ring.
Okay. I'm just saying. I mean, look, we're going to continue to do the pod. We have a big, well, Otis has now revealed his big news. I have some things going on too, and I'm not ready to talk about that, but we both have some things going on in the next few weeks / months that may slow this down a little bit, but I think that we're committed to doing this.
Absolutely.
I think we're committed to being here. It's like an hour a week, and we do no prep. If you listen, we do no prep. So,
as we said before, we started this entire thing as a phone conversation. We'd always talk to each other for a couple hours each week, and we would just laugh our faces off, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're like, we should record this and make it a podcast, and that's what this is. So
we
appreciate you being a part of it and loving it as much as us.
We had a conversation the other day that I wish was on the podcast. Like, we had a conversation like, man, why is this not on the podcast?
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for being a part of it. This is Weird on all the socials at This Weird Pod. Find us and keep continuing to interact with us. And we'll have my new best friend on next week.
Oh, come on with that. I'm not going to do well if you're going to introduce, if you guys are going to be friends. Like, we are friends first. Like, he is the one making this a threesome. I want you to make that aware. Like, Brian coming into this is the one. He's the
side chick.
He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's the side chick.
Okay.
I was here first. I was the one that found the teeth on the beach, and here he comes. Fancy ass. I gotta have a conversation with this guy. So we're gonna do that. I think,
All right.
Brian, I think he's gonna come on next week. So.
This is Weird. We appreciate you being a part of the family. Thanks.
Bye.